So today I want to talk about Joaquin Torres, and this guy is widely renowned as the worst champion released this year, 2025. And I kind of want to talk about a little bit why he kind of is overall just not received well by the community, and why maybe he's not as terrible as we think. But we'll get into some gameplay, try to figure that out for ourselves. And we're going to start here against this Captain Marvel just to show the damage. My Joachim is a rank 3. He is unawakened. His awakened ability gives him a little bit of burst damage if the slow fails the unstoppable. But overall, his awakened ability doesn't really impact his damage much. And I wouldn't say his awakened ability is extremely needed. The best thing his awakened ability does is it gives him his slow at the start of the fight, which is pretty nice. And then here I'm going to go ahead and drop my special 2. We're going to start placing traumas on the opponent. And yeah, we don't have too many now, but we're going to start stacking them up eventually. They do cap out at 25, so we're almost halfway to the cap. And yeah, we're in our purple mode, which is, very similar to Nimrod. It's just our two modes combined together. But here's one thing that I really don't like about his purple mode, and that's once you lose the physical vulnerability, you can't get it back until you refresh the thing, which is actually more difficult than just switching your instincts from orange to blue when you're not in the purple mode. So, like, you'll see that thing fall off, the physical vulnerability, and now I just can't get it back. Which is something I really hope they change as a rebalance. We'll see if they actually do, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of that at all. And so he did that fight in 1 minute and 8 seconds, which is fine. It's not great at all. It's not the worst thing ever. I'd say the damage is definitely pretty low there. But now we're going to go fight Juggernaut, where we're going to have class advantage. We're going to see that slow in action because, yeah, when he's in Defensive Instinct, once they activate his special, he's going to place the slow, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want because then we'll counter Juggernaut's Unstoppable like that. And we have the class advantage, which usually for champions who have lower overall damage, they're going to feel the benefit of class advantage a lot more than other champions, and I think Torres is going to be no exception to that. We're going to see this fight's a good bit faster than Captain Marvel. So yeah, we're hitting decently hard on our basics. Like, that was a 20k medium if you add the trauma and stuff together. And then we'll go for another special 2 here and start maxing out the trauma stacks. And yeah, we're at 25 there. They have plenty of duration on them. And then I'll go for a medium here. And we hit reasonably hard, like, after we get all the traumas up. But, like, I don't know. It's fine damage. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, but it's nothing to be freaking out over either. So we're going to do a few side quest fights where I'm just going to, show the slow in action a little bit more while I just kind of talk over him. So, what are his, core strengths? It's mainly the slow. He does have some cool utility pieces in the whole regen during the opponent's special attack thing. Basically, he's going to regen 40% of the damage that he takes during the opponent's special attacks, and then each time they drop another special, it's going to add 10% to that, up to 70. Which does include special 3s, so you can actually tank a special 3 and then regen a large portion of the damage back. But, I mean, yeah, it's kind of more of a cheesy mechanic more than something that's really strong. So, yeah, he's kind of just this, really good slow champ, but also that's kind of it. And I just don't see a lot in his utility kit to warrant anything else. He has the debilitates, which are a piece of utility to an extent for, obviously Enchantress, which we'll get to later. But I wouldn't say they're really that much of a utility piece because they're kind of only used for that matchup. And so, if you're just a champ with pretty low utility and just kind of whatever damage, you're not going to do too well, I wouldn't say. And I think that's part of why he's just getting, brushed over, because he doesn't do a lot and his damage isn't really helping the situation. Another relatively cool thing he does do is he doesn't get the buff from the Dexterity Mastery, which is pretty good against certain mystics, especially against Enchantress, which we'll come to later, because the proc of MD when fighting Enchantress from your dexterity buff is actually a really underrated thing that Enchantress does to make her extremely annoying, is when she's getting that proc of MD from the dexterity mastery, making her get to her special 1 much faster. So here I'm just messing up. I need to be baiting a special with his defensive instinct active to get the slow. I don't know why I wasn't earlier, and now I have the slow. Like I don't know why I was just screwing around earlier. So yeah, totally just me playing bad there. But I dropped my special 2 now, and all of our damage is physical, including the trauma. So the fact that Wong has a yellow spell is definitely making my damage a lot worse. Because in turn, my damage is worse, meaning my trauma damage is even worse than that. And yeah, physical resist is definitely an enemy of this guy. Which a lot of characters recently I feel like have been doing some nice damage in direct, which is what makes them extremely strong. Like part of why they're really strong. Like Bastion's disintegration, that's direct damage. Spider-Woman's power stings, that's direct damage. And it's just when you have champs with direct damage sources, they just find their way to take a lot of different fights. And I feel like direct damage, maybe that's another topic for another video, but it's really underrated utility right now. Is when you're a champion who's just extremely versatile because you can do your damage source in so many different things. And I think physical resist is more common than anything else when it comes to resisting damage types. So this is from my buddy Instinct. This is his rank 4 Joaquin Torres. That Yeah, this guy's in my alliance, fellow officer with me, and he took us Joaquin Torres all the way to rank 4, which is pretty wild. And yeah, we're gonna see him fight this Enchantress on PC. Yeah, he said he's not the best with PC on, which I don't blame him for. So if the gameplay looks a little weird, could be part of why. And yeah, like the 2 debilitate thing is pretty cool for Enchantress because that's just 2 spells you can completely ignore. But it feels like a slap in the face when they give him 2 debilitate and then give Spider-Woman 6 2 months after. And it's like, obviously the 2 debilitates still matter a lot when fighting Enchantress, right? But it's just, could you give him more? Like, if you're really gonna go from 2 to 6 within 2 months, it just feels like you're actually slapping this guy in the face. I think that's a really, really bad, especially considering how much better Spider-Woman's kit is compared to his. So, yeah, I don't know. I I, I like that he can counter Enchantress a little bit because of that, but I think he should be doing it better. If anything, I think he should be better at fighting Enchantress when it comes to debilitates than Spider-Woman, because again, this guy's kit overall is much weaker than hers in general. But whatever. Last fight I'm gonna do is when I went to the Crucible and we're taking this Dormammu. And important thing about this fight is we have a 125% Fury passive because we're a science, and that's what the node does. And you can see, like, if he's getting damage modifiers, he doesn't feel bad at all because, yeah, you got that slow, which is really reliable, and your what was originally not great damage now looks better. And it's like, that feels a little redundant to say, oh, champ gets better when they have more damage, but like, if they already have low damage to begin with, they feel a lot better when you give them any extra attack. And Fury buffs from nodes matter a lot more when you're playing a champion who doesn't increase their attack in a normal way. And Torres doesn't do that unless you use his special 1, which you pretty much don't ever use. So that was like a pretty fast fight, like genuinely. So like on nodes they're boosting his attack, that makes him feel a bit more valuable with that slow. Like the slow is a really good utility piece for that at that point. But I don't know. Overall, it's just his kit just doesn't feel like it's fully up there for 2025 standards, and I do think it's a shame. But we'll see from his rebalance. I'm gonna be hopeful that in January this guy feels a lot better. Hopefully they do his kit justice and make him a bit more usable. And Spider-Woman losing the ensnare means that now he's gonna look a lot better at countering evade because he's gonna be hiding in her shadows a lot more, which I'm not going to get into Spider-Woman anymore, but, I'm glad that he's getting more value from her getting nerfed. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. I do really hope this guy gets a nice rebalance. And if you enjoyed it, leave a like and a sub and all the fun YouTube stuff. So, I'll see you all in the next one.